Into all nice places, though.
That's true, yeah. He would know all the bouncers on the doors, for sure.
Too well, for my liking.
A bit too well. But, oh, God. I remember, like, when I was growing up, sort of teenager and then in uni and stuff, like, having a sort of very flamboyant companion, like, I'm not just stereotyping, but usually a gay lad or somebody who was very arty or very flamboyant, right? They were great fun in a group, like going out, because they were great at breaking the ice because they had no inhibitions and they were like, they're making friends with everyone around you, and all of a sudden it was a great night because obviously the sort of straight white man is the least fun of all creatures in the world because they're just standing there in their Ben Sherman shirt, like trying to look hard, basically.
Can I just chime in and say Arnold Schwarzenegger would disagree?
Yeah, well, true.
I mean, if you're talking personality, I mean, Christ.
Yeah, but you wouldn't. You can't really picture him on a sticky Weatherspoons dance floor in Guildford, can you? Like he's not picking up all the chicks. Like if they can't, But anyway, so these lads were always dead good at like sort of getting the party going. But then after that, they always attracted so much attention that it was like we always looked so plain in comparison to these lads. Mm. I know we were straight, so we actually had a chance, whereas this lad didn't. But do you know what I mean? I don't really know what I'm asking here. I'm just
is there a question there? Or?
No, I'm just vibing. I'm just
okay, just vibing.
He's riffing. Let him go, Greg. He's just riffing.
It's more like a therapy session, really. So,
oh Christ. I think that's something I learned. Oh God, I'm not going to talk as if I'm a player with the ladies in any way, shape or form. I'm not. But when I was younger and you're in clubs and you're trying to pick up girls, something I learned relatively early on was don't be the guy on the edge of the dance floor standing there with his pint with his three other mates doing nothing.
Yeah.
You got to get involved. You got to get in there and you got to, pretend like you don't care and you're enjoying yourself. I don't like dancing that much, but you pretend, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's the looking like you're having a great time, enjoying yourself. You don't care about anything else. That's the key to success. So any young listeners out there, you're welcome. You have that one for free.
I'm going to counter that though, Greg. I'm going to counter that. You are right.
Go on then.
You are right. There's three ways. There's the way that Adam just said. You're standing on the edge with your pint, looking Billy No Mates. There's your way, which you just mentioned. But the third way is to you just play it cool. Be a bit of a maverick. Sit by yourself on a couch. They'll come to you, mate. I'm telling you.
The ultimate loner.
Yeah.
Oh, it's so good. Yeah, just
I mean, just going from my own experience.
Oh,
yeah, but you didn't do it by choice, mate. That's the difference.
Well, I was. You're going to pay for that, mate. I tell you.
Yeah, that's only the correct choice if it's genuinely an option, not your only option.
I've made a note here, Greg. You're that's a yellow card.
Yeah. Oh God.
You're on thin ice. The bloke card is about to be withdrawn.
I was just speaking from my own experience, I was very fortunate because I was in bands from a very young age, same as you guys. But I was everyone kind of knew me. People know me. I'm kind of a big deal.
I'm a made guy.
Yeah. I was pretty much Ron Burgundy of the little seaside town I was from. No, but all jokes aside, I think in the small towns where everyone does kind of know each other, it's a lot easier than going to Tiger on a Friday night.
Yeah, man.
Which I couldn't think of anything worse to do.
Oh, Jesus. Yeah, it's crap. It's really crap, isn't it? Like, especially if you're a muso and you know how terrible this music is. You're just like, how can I vibe it out? I used to pray for it to tick over to 11 o'clock. Right. No, it would have been late in that, wouldn't it? But maybe midnight when it sort of kicked into the sort of ironic oldies hour and like bloody Spice Girls or something came on that I would actually know and enjoy, and then I could do what you're saying, Greg, act like an actual tit and like get away with it, and then the confidence was the back. But then as soon as like when it got to 2 and they kicked into like new stuff, I was like, oh God, this is rubbish. I can't vibe this out. And I just quit and left. But listen, I'm genuinely excited about when clubs open again. I'm well up for old school night out.
What, clubbing?
Yeah.
Yeah, genuinely. I'm not taking the mick. I'm not talking about serious clubbing, not like hardcore, I don't know.
Do you mean barring?
No, I mean bar. I mean pubs first. Prees. I mean prees at somebody's house, right? Somebody's student
the most
shared
important
flat.
drink.
Yeah.
Come around mine for prees, mate.
Yeah, warm lager, and then and some green shots of some sort. Then bar. Yeah, exactly. Then bars,
Christ.
and then I'm going out clubbing. Do you know what I mean? Let's move on, boys. Let's move on. Let's go out to a club.
But you're only resorting to the clubs because it's the last place open.
Yeah, definitely. But going out there and making an absolute tit of myself, I'm well up for that when clubs open again.
I don't need to drink to do that, though.
Who's with me?
I just make a tit out of myself.
I can't wait for that night to be organised. Us to go out and then be home by 10. But not for me.
Yeah. Big time.
No, I get what you're saying, though. You just want to be in a room with more than 10 people all doing the same thing.
Yeah, big time.
Like, I don't really care what it is. I just want to be in a room with more than 10 people, like I say, in a joint activity. Dancing, drinking, I don't know, playing darts. I don't whatever the hell you want to do.
What working men's club are you going to, Greg?
Oh God, I can't recover from that. That's a diabolical. That.
I was about to say reflex has changed. Christ, when did they put the dartboard in? All bar one, Clapham dartboard. I doubt that very much. So. You know what? You know where I want to go? I want to go to Inferno's, Clapham High Street, mate. That's where I want to go.
Inferno's?
Yeah,
don't know it, mate.
You know Inferno's, surely. The main cheesy one where it's got sticky floors and they fire foam out at midnight and everyone's an idiot.
Yeah.
You I mean, you know that neck of the woods, don't you, Pete? Do you know?
Yeah,
you know Inferno's?
I lived around there. Yeah, I know it. And again, I just can't state this strongly enough. I couldn't think of anything worse. Like,
okay.
I'd rather not go out.
Not even getting trolleyed, like an absolute mental case, and going out and acting like a knob and getting thrown out.
Maybe, I mean, I'm an old man. I say I'm an old man. I was an old baby.
Like, yeah, well, me too, mate. Me too.
Yeah, I think we all share that.
Actually, I'm a hippie compared to Adam. I mean, talk about old man. Jesus. This is what
these
amazes
Beatles,
me.
they need to get their hair cut and get a real job.
I can't imagine you clubbing. I just can't see it.
I mean, I hated it when I was young. But then, like, the last few years, the handful of times I go out a year, maybe 2 or 3 times a year, probably, I've sort of found the fun in it and just get quite drunk and just muck about and just don't care. Because, I think it was the thing about, like, when you're 18, 19, 20, whatever, like, you're trying to pull everything and everyone in sight. So it's like, it's a really big deal, and if you screw this up, you're on your own again for another week.
That's a week done, yeah.
Exactly, that's a write-off. So, if you know what I'm saying. So, there was more pressure on it. Whereas nowadays, we've all been in relationships for a while. It's more like, you just go out and, like, you might even go for a bite to eat beforehand and then a few beers, and then you just like, yeah, go on then. Shall we go Inferno's? Yeah, sweet. And then you go there and have a mental time, and then that's it. Good night, So. That's it, basically.
Interesting, yeah. I'm up for it. I haven't really gone clubbing. Christ, the only people I go clubbing with actually are like mates from school that started it off.
Yeah,
I've never done it with anyone else. Even me and the missus, we don't just go out. We'd go to a pub or something, but we wouldn't go to a club. But yeah, maybe I need to re-find the fun in it and. Look at it a bit differently. I don't know. I'll try it out.
I reckon we should do a Blokes podcast club trip, mate, and just like do an old-fashioned in-betweeners night out.
That is the only time I'll go. If you're there, if you two are there, that's the only time I'll go.
Let's do it.
Great.
Let's get Eric. Let's get Eric involved as well, and anyone else who listens.
Also the lad
only
in
Eric, no one
well.
else.
Yeah. Yeah, he'll fly over to go to Inferno's.
So, Pete, I've got a question, mate. Now, we met for the first time late last year. So, and I know you and Adam have known each other longer, but when I first met you, I didn't obviously. The first thing you don't find out someone's political allegiances or where they sit with big topics like.
Or you shouldn't do.
I don't know, immigration. Or you definitely shouldn't do. I think
are you
that's
joking?
becoming.
That's standard these days, isn't it? As soon as you meet
Well,
someone, are you left or right?
Yeah, that does seem to be more and more popular, I tell you, for sure. I grew up with my dad. He wouldn't tell me who he voted for. He's like, no, you don't ask people about politics.
Yeah, man.
It's just nothing good comes from it.
Did he put the last in before politics or?
Yeah.
Mate, I remember saying that to my uncle one time. I had an uncle that was a bit involved in politics, and one of his friends were at a little gathering, and I was quite young, sort of early teenager or whatever, and I said, because I thought, everyone must be in the same boat here, because it was a sort of political gathering or whatever. And I said, are you such and such as well? Do you vote for such and such? And he's like, no, you don't ask that. We've only just met, sort of thing. Like, that's not. He wasn't having a go at me, but he was just like, just a bit of, just a word of advice for the future. You don't say that sort of thing. And it doesn't matter really. Like, it doesn't affect, or it shouldn't do. But like you're saying, it's gone out the window, hasn't it? Like, people just immediately like you're saying, Pete, are you left or right? Do I love you or do I hate you? Like, what? Are we going to be friends or not, sort of thing? And I hate it. But yeah, saying that, Pete, tell us about yourself. What's your name and where do you come from?
That was a genuine question. All right.
No, so I think I'll just sort of narrow it down a little bit. Like, now that I've known you for a bit longer, I've seen that you've gone through a little bit of a change in the way you think about things and stuff, especially during the lockdown when you've had more time to look into stuff. So I just wanted to ask, like, what's changed, why it's changed, and sort of how, I guess. Okay,
well, the main thing, you just said it, lockdown. I mean, time. I think one of the few things, the positive things that's come out of all the past 10 months is time. Whatever you want to call it, boredom or whatever, but we have been blessed with time. And not taking as read everything you read or everything you watch. Listening to the other side as well, because you never know. You just go, I didn't think about it like that. Or, wow, he's bang on. It can happen. And it did happen to me, I almost want to say I've done a complete 180 flip in my thought process. Not just politically, I mean, morally, and so many different aspects, just because I've actually had the time to think about, because it was just a given. Not that my parents or anyone were ramming ideologies down my throat. It was just, it wasn't, I didn't even think about it. It was just, I remember when I first joined the group I'm in now, I mentioned to them, I've never voted. And the amount of abuse I got. And I thought, wow, okay. So things have changed a lot since then. But
can I just interject there? Right. That sort of, I used to think along the same sort of lines, and I think we spoke about this in a podcast a few times ago. The bit that was like, where I mentioned, I think we should all be forced to vote. It should be compulsory, like in Australia. Yeah, it's a no-brainer. Get everyone to vote, and you get a more accurate representation. And if you don't vote, you get a whole load of fines to pay for stuff in the government. I thought, why on earth would we make it non-compulsory? That sort of thing. And I used to do a similar sort of thing. I'd be like, why wouldn't people vote? Why wouldn't you vote? That's silly. That's horrible. You should look into it, sort of thing. And then, just like you mentioned there, with listening to the other side and listening to a 180. In fact, during the podcast, Greg mentioned why you might not want to make it compulsory, because it means that people just vote in a very superficial way with what's forced in front of their face, basically. Like, whoever's just shouting the loudest in front of them, they'll go, I'll vote for you because I don't want to pay the fine, sort of thing. And they vote. You actually don't get a more representative voice of the people. You just get loads of people voting for someone who's had something rammed in front of their face, basically. So, yeah, you make a very good point about listening to the other side, because that's what I did. I used to be like, why don't you vote? Vote, please vote. It's stupid if you're not vote. And I actually think, no, if somebody said that to me now, I'd be like,